For most of human history, the ocean seemed simple enough. There was the surface where the sunlight danced and the fish swam, and then there was everything below. People assumed that as you descended, things just got darker and quieter. The deeper you went, the less life there was. It made sense, it felt logical, but that assumption was entirely wrong. The deep ocean wasn't just dark and empty, it was a gauntlet. A series of invisible barriers that grew more extreme with every meter of descent. The ocean didn't simply fade into nothingness, it transformed into something hostile, alien, and utterly unforgiving. Each layer brought new rules, new pressures, new impossibilities. And the creatures that lived there didn't just survive despite these conditions. They were built by them. For thousands of years, humans knew almost nothing about the deep sea. Ancient sailors feared the darkness beneath their ships, inventing monsters to explain what they couldn't see. Even as recently as the 20th century, scientists believed the deep ocean was a lifeless desert, a place too cold, too dark, too crushing for anything to exist. They were spectacularly wrong. When the first deep-sea expeditions finally descended into the abyss, they discovered something astonishing. Life thrived there. Not just survived, thrived, but it wasn't life as anyone understood it. These creatures looked like nightmares sketched by a fever dream. They glowed in the dark. They existed without sunlight, without warmth, without the basic ingredients that every biology textbook said were essential. The ocean held secrets in layers, and each layer was more brutal than the last. The ocean was divided into zones, though humans didn't know this for centuries. Each zone operated under different laws of physics and biology. Each one filtered out life that couldn't adapt. The sunlight zone extended from the surface down to about 200 meters. Here, light penetrated the water. Photosynthesis happened. The food chain began. This was the ocean that humans knew, the one they could see, swim in, and understand. It was vibrant, warm, and alive. But then came the twilight zone, stretching from 200 to 1,000 meters. The light faded here, it became dim, then dimmer, until only the faintest blue glow remained. Predators evolved massive eyes to capture every last photon. Others developed bioluminescence, the ability to create their own light. It was a realm of shadows and whispers, where seeing and being seen became a deadly game. Below that, at 1,000 meters, the midnight zone began. No sunlight reached here, none. The darkness was absolute, crushing, and permanent. The temperature dropped to just above freezing. The pressure became immense. For every 10 meters of depth, the weight of the water above increased by 1 atmosphere. At 1,000 meters, the pressure was 100 times what it was at the surface. A human body, unprotected, would be crushed instantly, and yet life persisted. Deeper still, past 4,000 meters, was the abyssal zone. Here, the ocean floor stretched flat and featureless for thousands of kilometers. The pressure reached 400 atmospheres. The cold was relentless. No plants grew. No light existed. The only food that arrived came from above, tiny particles of dead organisms drifting down like snow. They called it marine snow, and it was the only sustenance for miles. And then at the very bottom, past 6,000 meters, was the Hadal Zone, the trenches. These were the deepest places on Earth. The Mariana Trench plunged to nearly 11,000 meters. The pressure there exceeded 1,000 atmospheres. It was more hostile than the surface of most planets, and still, creatures lived there. Life didn't start in the deep sea, it began at the surface, where the sun provided energy and warmth. But over millions of years, some organisms drifted downward. They explored the margins, testing the limits of where life could exist. Evolution treated the deep ocean like a laboratory. It ran experiments, most failed. The creatures that ventured too deep without the right adaptations simply died. But a few, and improbable, stubborn few, found ways to survive. These were the prototypes. Around 500 million years ago, early fish began to diversify. Some stayed near the surface, evolving into the sleek, fast predators humans recognized. Others descended. They traded speed for endurance. They traded color for invisibility, They traded eyes for other senses. The deep-sea anglerfish, for instance, split from its shallow water ancestors during the Cretaceous period around 100 million years ago. Back then, it didn't yet have its famous bioluminescent lure. That came later through trial and error as generations of anglerfish competed in the dark. The ones that could produce even the faintest glow attracted prey more effectively. Over time, that glow became brighter, more complex, more refined. This same process shaped the giant squid, the gulper eel, the viperfish. Each one was an answer to a problem the ocean posed. Each one was a prototype that worked. The deep ocean presented three fundamental problems: pressure, darkness, and starvation. Every creature that lived there had to solve all three. Problem 1, the crushing pressure at the surface. Atmospheric pressure was roughly 14.7 pounds per square inch. At 1,000 meters, it was 1,470 pounds per square inch. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, it exceeded 16,000 pounds per square inch, the equivalent of having 50 jumbo jets stacked on top of a single square inch of your body. For most organisms, this pressure was fatal. It collapsed air-filled spaces. It destroyed cell membranes, it crushed bones. But deep-sea creatures didn't have air-filled spaces. They didn't have swim bladders like shallow water fish. Their bodies were filled with water, which was incompressible. Their cells contained specialized molecules, osmolytes, that stabilized proteins under extreme pressure. Their skeletons, when they had them, were soft and flexible. The snailfish, discovered at depths exceeding 8,000 meters, had no scales. Its bones were thin and cartilaginous. Its body was gelatinous, almost translucent. It looked fragile, but it was perfectly engineered for the abyss. The pressure that would kill a surface fish was simply irrelevant to it. Problem 2, the absolute darkness. Without sunlight, vision became useless, or so it seemed. But many deep-sea creatures evolved enormous eyes to capture the faintest traces of bioluminescence. The giant squid possessed the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, up to 30 centimeters in diameter. They functioned like satellite dishes, collecting every available photon. Others abandoned vision entirely. The hagfish and many species of deep-sea shrimp were functionally blind. Instead, they relied on other senses: touch, smell, and electroreception. They felt vibrations in the water. They tasted chemical trails left by prey. And some creatures solved the darkness by creating their own light. Bioluminescence evolved independently at least 40 times in the ocean. It was used to attract prey, to communicate, to confuse predators, and to find mates. The hatchetfish lined its belly with photophores, tiny light-producing organs that matched the faint glow from above, making it invisible to predators below. Problem 3, the famine. Food was scarce in the deep ocean. The only energy came from marine snow, the constant, slow rain of dead organic matter from the surface. It was meager, unpredictable, and spread thin across millions of square kilometers. Deep-sea creatures adapted by becoming incredibly efficient. They had slow metabolisms. They moved little. They conserved energy at every opportunity. The black swallower could eat prey twice its own size. Its stomach stretched to impossible proportions, allowing it to consume an entire meal in one gulp, a meal that might have to last for weeks or months. The anglerfish took efficiency even further. The males of many species were tiny, sometimes 100 times smaller than the females. When a male found a female, he latched onto her with his teeth and fused with her body. His organs atrophied. He became nothing more than a parasitic sperm factory, sustained by her bloodstream. It was grotesque, but it solved the problem of finding a mate in the vast, dark emptiness. The deep ocean wasn't just a place of bizarre anatomy, it was a place of strange intelligence. The giant squid, long mythologized as a sea monster, remained one of the most elusive creatures on Earth. For centuries, no one had seen one alive. They were known only from carcasses that washed ashore or were found in the stomachs of sperm whales. When scientists finally captured footage of a living giant squid in 2004, they discovered something unexpected. It was curious. It approached the camera. It seemed to investigate. Its behavior suggested a level of awareness that researchers hadn't anticipated. The octopus, a shallow water relative of deep-sea cephalopods, was known for its problem-solving abilities. It could open jars, navigate mazes, and use tools. Deep-sea octopuses, though less studied, likely possessed similar intelligence. They had to, in an environment where food was rare and threats were constant, being clever was a survival strategy. Even more strange were the deep-sea jellyfish creatures with no brains, no central nervous system, yet they exhibited coordinated behavior. Some species formed colonies, working together as a single organism. It was a form of collective intelligence that humans barely understood. The deep ocean remained one of the last true frontiers on Earth. Humans explored more of the surface of the moon than they did of their own ocean floor. And what little they saw suggested that there were countless species still unknown, countless adaptations still undiscovered. The creatures of the abyss existed in a world that humans could barely visit, let alone survive in. They were shaped by forces that defied imagination, and they would likely outlast humanity itself. The ocean kept its secrets well, and perhaps that was how it should be. Thank you for watching Titans of the Abyss. Your support made this exploration possible.